So make sure you like and subscribe this video so that you can get future videos like these from YouTube from me. And thank you so much for looking at my videos. So today we're going to start with a couple different kinds of leathers. We have a Wolverine leather, and we have a brown pull-up leather that's very nice, and we're going to make a trifold out of this. And then eventually we'll make a trifold leather out of this light tone brown pull-up leather and this darker brown pull-up leather. But for today, we're going to start with these two. So bear with me as I get things kind of set up and kind of focused in here. It'll take me just a moment to get things kind of set up. There we go. Okay. So here we go. We're set up. So we're going to start with, remove this from the board. This is called a single horse front, which is, they get it from a horse, and that's why they call it a single horse front. The color of it is called Wolverine. Not because it's made from Wolverine, but because that is the color of the name of the color. Okay, so let's go ahead and dig into this. So we're going to dig into this roll here. You can see this is a very nice brown leather. And we need to pick what we want for our exterior. You always want to do that. You always want to kind of look at what you have and what you want in the end and how you want your wallet to look. Whereas we've got some graininess going on over here, and that may look okay, but I think for this video and for this build along, we're going to use this part of the hide to do our video. And I'm going to show you guys an easy way to do this, because it took me a long time, and then a lot of people do it differently, a lot of leather workers, and it took me a long time to try to figure out how to measure and do all this, and take your measuring tool and measure, and back and forth, and you know, it just takes a long time to do that. Whereas what I have found an easier way to do that. So give me 1 minute and let me get my stencil. And the stencil that I'm going to be using, which I've got to get with all of my manufacturers, and see if it's okay if I mention their name on my YouTubes. But for right now, I will just tell you that it's a stencil I get. Once I get confirmation later, I will put the names of the manufacturers in the videos of where I get these particular parts in my paid section for build-alongs. Okay? So give me just a second. And let me get my stencils. I'm going to show you an easier way that I do stencils. So I pay for these stencils. I paid for all this out of my own money, so I don't have any sponsors just yet, but I'm going to work on that. So for right now, what we want out of this thicker leather here, and if we measure that, we can probably see this is a 4 to 5 ounce leather, and I'll teach you guys that a little later on of what the thickness and how it matters. But for right now, that's all you need to know. And we want to take our outside piece and make it our 4 to 5 ounce leather. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up, okay? And then we're going to take our pin, and we've already flipped the hide over, so the front of the hide is down, and which is called the green side, it's down, and then the flesh side is up, okay? So we will start here, and we will mark this like so. Okay, and that's it. So now we've got that marked, and we've got a perfect stencil of this on our wallet, or on our leather, for our wallet, okay? Much easier way to do it than trying to take a ruler and measure this out, and measure it out, and then measure it this way, and get all the curves in and all that. I find this is much easier to do. And then, so what we'll do is we'll just take our which I'll show the other side of this here. Hold on just a second. Let me move the camera around here. There. Is that better? Yeah. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah. So here's our line we marked. So we're going to set that up here. Going to put it right on that line, and we're going to take we're going to gently, they're not going to push very hard, because we don't want to try to do the cut all in one swipe. We just want to take a couple swats at it, just like that. It makes a nice, even little cut, okay? And then we're going to do our other piece just like that. We're going to put it right on the line. And the closer to the line that you get it, the better it will look. And so we'll just go up here, press down slightly, drag it across real slow. We're not trying to win a race or anything. Even though I've done this for years, it's better to do these things and move slowly. Because the slower and more exact you move, the more precise cut you get. Even if you've been doing it for 10 years like me. So, and 10 years in the leather business is quite a long time. You can pretty much have a pretty good mastery of a lot of things in leather. The other things we're going to be mastering in the leather is the stitching. And I'm going to show you how to do stitching, hand stitching. It takes a little bit more than machine stitching, and it's a lot better. I'm going to show you and tell you why, and how it's much superior than anything else. So let's go ahead and get this rolled up. Get this rolled and moved out of the way here. And then we're going to bring this over, finish our last line, which is going to be right here. Okay. We're going to cut that like so. Okay. Now all we have to do, we've got an edge here that didn't quite get all the way done, so we're going to go ahead and put him right on that edge, and we're going to be taking off just a sliver. It's better to try to take these off than to try to sand them off. And we took some of it off, but we didn't take a ton of it. Then the next thing to do is going to be doing the edges, okay? So what we want to do is we want to take these round edges here, and we're going to take those off. So for that, as you can see this, I'm just going to come right around here like so. Come right around. And we made a nice little round corner there. There's our other round corners drawn on all four corners. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to trace these corners, okay? So I'll see if you guys saw that. I may have been holding that out of view. So I apologize for that. I will edit that part of the video, maybe. So, as you can see here, this line is drawn the corner here, and the corner there. And basically what we do is trace right on that corner and take that right off and go right around that corner. If there is a little place that still has a little bit left there, we will get that with some sandpaper, okay? That's why we use sandpaper. And you can see there's a little bit of leather that's not particularly smooth. We'll get that with our sandpaper, so no worries. This will look good and professional when we get finished up here, okay? So we're going to go ahead and finish this cut. And we're going to finish this cut. And there we go. How does that look? That look great? All right. And at least it looks even. And it's going to go together, and this is going to be our outside of our wallet piece, as you can see here. Okay? And we'll show you the whole piece here. Okay? So this will be our outside of our wallet piece. All right, so next up, we're going to be cutting the inside. Go ahead and get this wiped off here. Keep our, always, when you're finished with your knife, always retract your knife, no matter what, because if you knock it off the table, you definitely do not want to stab yourself in the foot. So you always retract your knife. Every time you use it, before you use it on the next thing. So you're going to be opening and closing your knife quite a bit, but it's better to do that and to be safe than to be sorry once you stab your foot, because it only takes one time and then you have a sore foot for a long time. So let me throw these pieces away over here in my Frank's Fine Leather trash can. And I always take the old pieces and I keep them and throw them away into a big container, and I usually try to give them away if somebody will take them, and if nobody wants them, then I will just discard them. Okay. But the one thing about leather is it's not biodegradable. So I would rather try to see if people can take them, reuse them, but I try not to have a lot of waste either. So we will put this leather away here in a bit. And now we are going to unroll. Our Wolverine. Isn't that beautiful? That should go well. That should be a good interior with the brown. It looks a little orange, but once we get it together, we get some brown tones of the leather going in with a little bit of the black running through here and some of the light brown. This will look very good for our wallet. The one thing is to try to put leather pieces together is the hardest thing. Because, you know, you want a good looking wallet, but what you like and what others like sometimes are two different things. But most people like a majority of the things that I select, so I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, so for this, since this mainly looks about the same everywhere, we are just going to go ahead and we have to have an internal part of our wallet. Let's go ahead and lay it down on our cutting mat. Oh yeah, I forgot, the cutting mat will also be something that you will want to invest in. You can get it from a lot of different stores, craft stores, but it's basically just it's called a healing mat. It's a anti-cut healing mat, and it's just something that you can cut about anything on. And when you're, it doesn't hurt your the blades of your cutting device, and it also doesn't hurt the mat. It's a self-healing mat, so the mat will heal on its own, so to speak. But over time, it will get scratched up from being cut on so many times, and you'll have to turn it and then eventually replace it. But that takes many, many years for that to happen. Anyhow, I digress. So we got our interior. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to trace right around this interior with our pen. So that we can see our lines. And when I first started doing this, a lot of the professionals, they would do it with an awl, a scratch awl. And they would sometimes do it on the other side, but then if you make mistakes, you know, then you're chewing up some of your leather, and or sometimes you mark into your leather by accident into this area here, and then your project's ruined. So I like to flip it over on the back, because whatever we do on this side, we can always, like, you know, sand out or do something, or if it's low enough, or turn it so that it's low enough, like, you know, in the bottom part of the wallet where it's not going to be seen, and it's a lot easier to hide blemishes and things like that without ruining your project, because this leather can get expensive. Your leather can run you Wholesale, you know, anywhere from the cheapest $9.99 a square foot to average of $15-20 a square foot. And some more expensive leather, depending on what you get. I mean, it could cost you $125-250 a square foot or higher. So, you know, you've got to keep all of that into mind and try to minimize as much waste as you can. So again, same thing here.